dealing with something the same now, so on top of what I've already been dealing with for several months.
Yeah, because you just had a car accident, like, last week?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was adding on. So it's like, basically, like a boxer who's already almost knocked out, and then, he threw about 10 more haymakers. And they all connected.
Wow.
But I'm still going to get up,
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to do it. I've always been that way. As a kid, being smaller than some of the other kids, I didn't have a choice but to just be tough and just keep letting stuff bounce off me, like stupid comments or things people would say or whatever, and physical stuff, sometimes too, but
like getting bullied, basically.
Yeah, or trying to stand up to bullies for whatever measures I took, or that anti-Semitic a-hole that was in our science class freshman year.
Who was that?
You don't remember that? He was an. Well, I'll try not to curse.
You can say whatever you want, brother.
Podcast part.
You can say whatever you want. You can.
Well, let me know
fuck
when
them.
you want to. Well, let me know when you want to get into the podcast part, and I'll, because I might choose my words more carefully.
Oh, in that case, I've been recording for 2 minutes already.
Oh,
I can totally edit it out. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I don't have to name too many people's names.
Yeah,
but I basically, he farted in the middle of class one day.
Oh, gross.
This was Earth Science with Mr. Johnson, of no relation to yourself.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, and this guy was a jerk. I think he was more of a loner, but he was a jerk. You could tell he was just one of these just jerk-type guys that just didn't really get along with people. For whatever reason, I didn't know him well, but he farted in class one day. I called him out on it. Some of the ladies in class started going along with my new nickname for him, which happened to be Farter, and I'm pretty sure he didn't like that, and found out I was Jewish, and went with that, and started continually making more anti-Semitic type jokes in my expense, and then it escalated to one day where he threw a penny at me and said, "Pick it up, Jew," or something, or I think he called me a bagel, which I don't know how a bagel was an insult. I'm like, "Oh, I'm a delicious breakfast food." Well, I don't know if I should be thanking you or angry. I said at the time, I picked up the penny and I threw it right in his face. I said, "If you ever throw something at me like that again, you're not going to get away with it." And I said, "I should just kick your ass right now." And I stood up to go up to him, and you and Mr. Johnson, the teacher, and like 3 or 4 other people had to hold me back.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm going to go after the guy.
So wow.
Yeah.
I held you back.
Like, yeah, you and the teacher more so, and you guys were like, "This guy's not worth it. He's just a jerk. Don't let him get under your skin. He's just a jerk."
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, a week or 2 later, I was at lunch hanging out with a couple people, and he walked by and he's like, hey, Adam, come here for a second. And I was like, "What do you want?" I'm like, I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you, and especially around anybody else. I don't really care to have anything to do with you anymore.
Yeah.
You're just in a class with me, and I don't like you. I'm like, "What, are you going to pick a fight with me again, But no, he goes, hey, you're lucky. And I'm like, "I'm lucky?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I had a gun in my locker, so." I'm like,
wow.
"Okay. So you were going to shoot me?" Like, what do you want me to say that? I'm like, "Okay, well, let's just let it be and just part ways and let it go, all right?" And he's like, "Fine." And that was kind of the end of it, but that was a little bit touch and go there.
Yeah, definitely not worth trying to find out if he had one or not.
No. I'm glad I didn't have to find that out.
Yeah.
It's been bad. But, with all the stuff that happens in today's world, that was more rare, I guess, back in our day, especially in Orange County. And we weren't in, a particularly dangerous part of Orange County, I wouldn't say, compared to other parts like Santa Ana or somewhere where there were a lot of gang activity or something like that. So it was a little surprising. there were some gangbangers at the school, but
Yeah.
you didn't really hear about it a ton. It was like more like posers and guys that wanted to act tough and things like that. I mean, there might have been some legit guys with some affiliations, but I just,
Yeah, I knew a couple of Crips that went to our school during various times, and but it wasn't like they were all from the same neighborhood or from the same set. They were just from different areas, because they didn't all grow up in Lake Forest. Some of them, came from L.A. or here or there or wherever. So so we didn't have like 15 Crips from one set sitting in our school. Like, we didn't have that. We had the Scandalous Crew people, whoever the hell they thought they were or whatever, but that was more kind of like that whole poser thing. Like, yeah, we're not really scared of you.
There was a guy in a PE class, in my PE class freshman year, where I still know a couple of the guys from the class, and there was this one dude in the class that we kind of thought might have been in a gang. Mm-hmm. So we kind of just were like, kind of would go out of our way to kind of be nice to the guy just so we didn't get on his bad side, because we had a feeling. So, but he never did, him and I never had an issue.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't feel like the school had problems with that, but there was other issues, stupid things.
Yeah. I remember our neighbor, who I won't mention his name, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't think you even need
his initials were a couple of D's.
Yeah.
Well, he had a problem with anger. Let's put it that way.
At the least. Least.
Very, very poor manager of his anger.
Yeah.
So you could have used Jack Nicholson from movie Anger Management Services, the character. Buddy Rydell.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that dude. He was something
really
else.
Really had anger management issues, and I had to basically stop hanging out with the guy because he was at my house one day, and we were playing a Super Dodgeball on the NES. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you played that game, I don't know if you personally played that game, but or anybody listening, you play that game, and you could cheese the other guy if you're playing versus your friend or your brother or whoever you're playing against. Like, you knock him down, get the ball back, and just keep hitting him while he's down. One of those cheap shot things.
Yeah.
And it's a game, right? It's not going to.
It's not that
whatever.
serious.
You win or lose. It doesn't really change your day. It shouldn't. But for this particular individual, who will still remain nameless, he did not like that I did it that one particular day, and he snapped, and he decided to claw me like a cat on my ankle.
Jeez.
And drew blood. And I just kind of had to get him off of me by punching him several times in the face. But
wow.
I told him, get the hell out of my house and never come back. That was the end of that. But yeah, he definitely was known for his anger issues, to say the least.
Exactly, to say the least. I mean, that guy got in fights often, or at least we heard about him getting in fights often. He was someone who was always nice to me, as far as like we never had beef. We didn't kick it like past like 8th grade. We didn't kick it, but I did play football with him freshman and sophomore year, I think, and I think that was it. And then I saw him kind of sporadically throughout the years, and then I don't think I saw him before he passed either. I saw him on Facebook.
Wait, we're talking about.
Oh,
he passed away. This person.
Wait. Have you guys talked?
No, we lost touch. I mean, we weren't friends after that, and that was junior high. And
yeah,
we were friends like when we went to the same after school place in elementary school, and that my mom worked at. So we were friends, and then when I moved, to the neighborhood, we hung out more.
Okay.
But he was like very,
Yeah, when you said the scratching thing, that's what made me think, like, I couldn't imagine other dude doing that. I'm like, that sounds so out of character.
He probably would have punched me and hurt me. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have messed with him ever.
Yeah.
he didn't have a reputation of a guy that you'd screw with. I know that much.
Exactly.
And I never did.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that dude, something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the guy.
If David's listening, it was in the past.
Yeah.
I forgive you now.
Mm-hmm.
We're adults. but you had a bad problem with anger back then, and that's all I'll say about that.
Have you seen it? Have you seen his Facebook or Instagram? I don't know. You're on both,
No,
right?
yeah, but I don't make a point to look specific people up too often.
Okay.
Unless it's someone I'm really like wondering about, or I don't know. That kind of bit me in the butt not too long ago with somebody else who I'm not going to mention on this, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you outside of this, I think I kind of already mentioned this to you, who this person was. So another dude I was close with at one point that you knew as well at school, and at least you knew of, and yeah.
Something happened where you were on their page or something?
No, it happened. Basically, the friendship ended because he screwed me out of a bunch of money, never paid me back, and wouldn't talk to me anymore.
Oh, I think you did tell me. I don't remember the name, but yeah, that does sound familiar.
Yeah, I don't need to mention people's names.
I gotcha.
It's just a lousy situation, what happened, and the way he handled it very poorly. And I wished it wouldn't have come to that. And I still made every attempt to make amends and say, you know what, let's let bygones be bygones. Money's money. Friendships are different.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. But, yeah, some people just, I don't know, like some people just never grow up, I guess. Even we're in our 40s, but some people never grow out of certain things. It's sad. People move away or move on or whatever.
Yeah.
Like me moving to Arizona in the middle of junior year, and probably a lot of people wondering what happened to me.
Yeah, I kind of want to get into that because I'm like wondering like when you moved, why you moved, and all that kind of stuff. Like,
for any of the people we went to school with that knew me back then, after you're listening to it, basically it was just one of those things where my dad got a better job offer in Phoenix, and his dad, my grandfather, obviously lived in Scottsdale, and he took the job, and one day, towards the end of 94, into 1994, he said, sorry to tell you this, but we're going to be moving, and it's going to be to Phoenix, and I got a job out there I didn't want to pass up, and I know it's going to be tough for you to adjust, and you made a lot of friends in Orange County, and we've been here a while, a number of years, but we're going to be moving beginning of the year. We're going to have to bring you out there and get you started at school out there, and that's what happened. I'm sure a lot of people were like, what happened to Adam? He just disappeared out of thin air in the middle of junior year, and yeah, I was in our neighbors to the east, and I have a lot of friends still back there, some very, very good friends. Shout out to some of those guys, Anthony, Scott, both Scotts, Jake, whoever might be listening. Love you guys, Arizona people.
Right on.
Still have ties to a lot of things back there, and finished out high school out there, and I stayed out there for a number of years. Went to college out there at Arizona State, and met my now wife out there, and we eventually moved out here to where I live in San Diego area. So that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And what brought you back to California? Because, I mean, that's obviously to go from Orange County to Arizona and then back to California is kind of a jump. Not a big jump, but big enough.
Yeah. I never wanted to leave Orange County. It wasn't my decision, obviously, but it's something we had to do as a family. And, one thing I definitely don't regret about it is, some of the great friends I made out there and got to be closer to my grandfather in the last few years of his life before he passed in 99, and I got to be pretty close with him, so I don't regret getting to spend that time with him and meeting some of those friends I'm still friends with to date, and will remain friends with. And it was tough, but when I met my wife, now my wife, when we were dating, I had thought about moving back because my parents and my brother had already moved back to San Diego a few years before, and I was kind of the last of the immediate family members, at least. I had, some step cousins and stuff through my grandfather's second marriage with my grandmother. Basically, she was my grandmother for most of my life, and her family, who are great as well. Any of them are listening, hello, out there in the Phoenix area. We just we're all in different places, but, told my wife, I really do want to move back out there, if not to Orange County, maybe to San Diego, because where my parents live, and she was able to get a job out here, and then eventually I was able to stay on with the company I was working for in Phoenix that had another campus. It was for a for-profit education company, doing recruiting and admissions and things like that. So I was able to stay with the company and start working for them in San Diego as well. So we moved out, eventually had a couple of boys and got married, and here we are.
Is it the school I think it is that has the name of a city?
No.
Oh.
No. It's a larger for-profit education company, and they had several different branches, so the corporation no one would ever heard of.
Oh, okay.
He worked with me there, which is my buddy Scott Hanwork. If he's listening, worked with me there. But I don't know if many people would have heard of a lot of these schools, maybe a couple of them. There was Argosy University.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Okay, they have some branches in Southern California where they actually have ground brick-and-mortar campuses as well. And I worked at the one in Mission Valley, if you guys are familiar with San Diego out there, down by where the Chargers used to play when they were actually in San Diego, and people gave a crap about them.
Yeah,
anyway,
they were down at the at Jack Murphy or
Qualcomm, now San Diego County Credit Union Stadium, home of the San Diego State Aztecs.
Gross.
And only the Aztecs.
No.
Anyway,
so crazy.
Corporate names, gotta love it. I miss the classic names of stadiums when we were kids.
Yep.
When they actually made a little bit of sense or had a tribute to somebody that was important to the team or the founding of the team or something to do with the team, not just whoever the highest bidder was. But gotta love corporate America, right?
Almighty dollar, brother.
Always. But what's the other ones? South University, which had nothing to do with geography. It was someone named South who founded it. And that was mainly online schooling, but they had campuses around the country as well. And then also they're over the art institutes, which I'm thinking are the most known of the four. So that was the overall the company.
Yeah, they do like graphic design, they do cooking, they have all types of stuff in their programs, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I worked for the parent company called EDMC, which probably people wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
So that was the company I worked with at the time, and some cool people I worked with, but after a while I just didn't want to do that kind of work anymore. But still have some friends from those days.
Yeah, it's good to kind of stay connected to people, as you change jobs. Like I've worked in a daycare, I've worked in bars and clubs, I've worked in office jobs, and it's funny how you might only work there for me, I only worked in some places like maybe for a couple years, or some places for like a few years, or some for like less than a year. But, sometimes I kind of just stay connected to one person and still 10, 15, 20 years later, you're still connected. And it's just crazy how you really form bonds and friendships with people that you really only see at work, but then there's some point there's something else that kind of expands past the work relationship and it becomes a friendship.
Yeah, I think you just, when you're around a lot of the same people for months or years at times at the same company or department, you just get to know the people on a little bit more of a personal basis, and certain people you just might start to click with, and they just feel like a camaraderie, and you find common ground. You're not going to find someone that probably shares most of your likes and interests, but you can at least find 2 or 3 things. You might like the same sort of music, you might like some of the same sports teams, or you might whatever, have some of the same background or whatever it might be, and just find that commonality and then form a bond, and then long time friendships come out of that. noticed the older we get, that's more the way you meet people, because when you're a kid, you're in school, you meet your friends through school pretty much, or church or synagogue or whatever, but that's where you're going to meet your majority of your friends when you're a kid, or in the neighborhood or whatever it might be. People you hang out with and play with usually live within a so many block radius of where you live.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get older and you branch out and you go to college or whatnot, if you happen to go to college, or you get a job, and sort of you start branching out in those circles and make different friends and different social circles and people you hang out with, and it's just a little bit of a different dynamic, but it's interesting, the older you get, how that changes. And and if you get married and have kids like me, it gets harder and harder to physically hang out with people, but I still like to try to stay connected to people. Not always the best at it, because being a parent does take a lot of your time, but
yeah,
especially with what I'm going through currently, but I think it's important, and I always feel that making and cultivating friendships is one of the most rewarding things you can do in life, and that, along with your family, people you are going to have the most connection with. So I think those things are really very important, and those are the things that stay with you over time.
Yeah, it's a great point you just made, that you said the relationships that you cultivate, and it actually leads me into like my next question I want to ask you, which I think someone just asked me this the other day, or maybe it was today, I don't even remember, it's been a long freaking day. But I think someone asked me, who's been the most influential person in your life? Like someone that personally, like they've had such a huge positive impact on you at this point in your life.
One person? That's really hard to It's a loaded question, because depending on who listens to this, I don't like to slight anybody, because I feel like everyone I've had a strong connection with and had long-time friendships with, and obviously close family and people I talk to often, are going to be at the top of the list. I mean, obviously my parents, we're always, I've been very fortunate. They've always been there for me, and I don't doubt that would change, and always will be, God willing, that they're around for a while longer. And my brother, my only sibling, my younger brother Jeremy, if you're listening, what's up?
Yeah.
And some of my closer friends I've had, two of my friends in particular, I hope they listen to this, and I will mention them because they are deserving. And one guy's named Josh Galler, G-Money, my buddy out in KC, Kansas City area.
KC Mo or KCK?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've known the guy since we were about 5.
Wow.
And we met in Houston, and we stayed friends through the years, even though we don't really see each other often. We still, consistently communicate online. We text each other, whatever it may be, just see how each other's doing, razz each other about sports when there's sports to actually talk about.
Yeah.
So there are not right now, hardly.
Not a single one.
A lot to talk about the past, or going to pro wrestling stuff, which not everybody's cup of tea, although you and I enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Josh Galler's an awesome guy. I wish we lived closer by each other. No, Josh, I will not be moving to Kansas City, but because I know he really wants me to, and he's been saying that for years. And no, I'm not going to be a Chiefs or Royals fan. Sorry, or Kansas basketball fan. But I still love Josh anyway, nonetheless. The other guy I've known that long, almost that long, since we were 8, is a guy named Matt Fleischman. And this guy, what can you say? You've known someone that long. We grew up together in Orange County, and we stayed close over the years. We both have wives and two sons now, and we're doing our own thing. But I know if there's any major thing I need, I can just call him, and he always offers it up, and I always would do the same for him. And he taught me a lot of things, but one of them was always the value of what he defined as a true blue friend, and that's basically what he's always been. That's someone that is someone, you can count on if the times get tough,
Yeah.
those are the friends you can turn to. And really, a lot of those you can only count on one hand most of the time, unfortunately. There's a lot of more acquaintances and people that, you know or know for a small amount of time. But, those two guys in particular, for the amount of time I've known them, and then, like I mentioned, some of my buddies in Arizona, like Anthony and Scott Engel, Scott Hanworth, my boy Jake, Bracamonte, those guys. Not trying to leave anybody out. If I do, I apologize. But those guys are awesome. They've been there for me. I mean, guys that I grew up with in California, too. Joey Quadra, as controversial as that man might be. Good Lord. Loyalist guy I've ever met.
Oh, right on.
Hardly any, we argue about everything. We'll argue about our favorite colors. I mean, I exaggerate, but, we argue about stuff. We're both pretty opinionated and pretty hard-headed, and we don't agree on everything, but we can probably both definitely count on each other for pretty much anything. And
right on.
The guy's has always been a good friend, regardless of his opinions and actions at times.
Yeah. And
even though his sports teams suck, that's okay.
That's the important shit right there.
He would say the same thing about me, so. Especially the part about the sports teams.
Yeah. Now, he went to La Madera with us, right?
I didn't go to La Madera.
Oh, you didn't?
I went to Rancho Cañada.
Ew, gross.
No. A little secret here. I didn't live in Lake Forest at the time, so we used my mom's boss's address because we lived in Mission Viejo, and I couldn't go to the school that her work for the after-school program I mentioned before with the guy that lived on our street went to with me and my brother. Mm-hmm. They only picked up from Lake Forest school, so I had to go to a Lake Forest school for them to be able to pick me up and take me to school in the morning. And my mom ran the office, basically, so she wasn't the one doing the dropping off and picking up. So that's why that happened. But then we did eventually move to Lake Forest when I was in junior high.
Wow, so you didn't go there at all, even a little bit?
I didn't. I did not go to La Madera. My brother, Jeremy, went to La Madera.
Okay.
But he was 3 years behind us.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's so funny.
He went to school with Carrie Quadra, Joey's sister, so they're around the same age.
I didn't know he had a sister.
He does, Carrie. Yeah, Carrie's great, and we talk here and there. Mm-hmm. Carrie, if you're listening, we need to catch up. Hope your daughter's doing well.
Yeah.
She has a beautiful daughter, yep. And, I went to Rancho Cañada, and I don't know, there's not much to say about that. I mean, I knew a lot of cool people there, too. Mm-hmm. And met even more at Serrano, an intermediate/junior high school. I don't know why they called it an intermediate school. Most places they could just call it junior high school, but
yeah,
they had to be different. And then El Toro, of course. And you
were at El Toro until you said junior year. That's when you moved out to
Arizona. Right in the middle of junior year, after when the winter break happened.
Yeah,
was gone, and then in January I started in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I went to and graduated from Saguaro High School, alma mater of one David Spade. Mm. And yes, he did visit the campus during my senior year one day and took over on the public announcements, and it was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
He was promoting Black Sheep, the movie Black Sheep. He did with Chris Farley at the time.
That movie sucked.
Well,
Can't win them all.
Love Spade.
Yeah.
And all his sarcastic wit and dry humor.
Are there other people that you went to junior high with or that lived in the neighborhood that we lived in that you still stay in contact with, even though it's been, 30-some years?
Yeah, I still talk to some people here and there. Like, besides yourself, we haven't talked really on the phone much, but, we keep in touch and message each other and text each other or whatever. But, there's a guy named Jason Burt. I don't know if you remember him. He didn't go to El Toro. He actually moved. Mm-hmm. He went to Rancho Cañada with me, and he went to Serrano, but then he went to a different high school because he moved But I've talked to him here and there. We caught up a bit. Shout out to Jason if you're listening. And man's also battling cancer, which is another topic that I'm very, very unfortunately dealing with myself. It's my son. So, right now, but he's doing well. He had surgery and last week on Wednesday, but got released from the hospital 5 days later. He's doing, most of it's gone out of his body, so more treatment coming up for the next few months, and just to hopefully ensure that it won't come back. And just that's been my focus. But other people, I mean, Joey. I mentioned Joey and I are still close, and there's a lot of people I've talked to here and there. Not as much as probably I'd like, but it's hard. Like I mentioned, you get older, and I moved away to another state, so I lost touch with a lot of the people, even yourself and a lot of the other guys and girls I knew back then. But, it's just part of life. You kind of meet new people wherever you go and at jobs, like we said. And I like reconnecting with people. If it's meant to be, it will happen. People want to get in touch with you, they will. I don't want to force anyone's hand, because that's, like I mentioned in that one case, bit me pretty badly in the butt, and that didn't go well. So I don't like to force things, but a few people I've more talked to online, more than anything else. I connected with on there, a few guys here and there and girls, but I wouldn't say I talk to them or see them really. I'd like to still get together with Jason Burt at some point.
Where's he living?
He's still up in Orange County.
Okay.
I think he's in the Fullerton area or Fountain Valley, one of the two.
Okay, well, hey, if you come to Fountain Valley, that is literally the city I'm in right now.
That's where you're at, so he's probably by you.
Okay.
Pretty close by you.
Yeah.
As far as I know. We've just missed each other over the years getting together. He's come down for a Padres game or something, and I wanted to do it, but had obligations to watching my kids or something else. Whatever's happened. But one of these years, God willing, we're still all around.
Yeah.
We're not all dying from this horrible COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever they're calling it today.
Yeah.
It's very, very scary. Very concerning, and just scary, because you don't know what's going to happen to who and when, and just social isolation, social isolation. Please stay home and don't get in large groups of people. Don't do any unnecessary things you don't need to do. Work from home if you can. I know that's not an option for everyone, and people whose jobs are affected. Boy, my heart goes out to you guys. And it's just, especially if you guys have caring for sick relatives or friends or sick children, God forbid, like I am. It is a incredibly difficult situation. So, hey, God bless you guys. Everybody stay strong and get through it. Hopefully sooner than later. And we'll all just have to be kind to each other and try to pick each other up and keep distances, but still talk to each other. Social media is good for that. Call people, call family, call friends. Stay busy. Try to exercise. My buddy Vinay will advocate for that, being a kickboxing instructor and fitness guru. If you're listening, Vinay, yes, indeed, you're correct. Got to keep at it. But it's tough times. It's tough times for everybody. So, especially people in New York. I have a lot of family out there in that area, and hope they're all right. Hope they're all staying safe. If any of them are listening, let me know you guys are all right. I don't know who's being affected in what way, but be safe all over.
Absolutely.
Whoever's listening.
Absolutely. And you mentioned a few minutes ago, I think you said something about pro wrestling is kind of like one of the things that you kind of go to kind of relieve your stress.
It is, and I think it's different for everybody. Some people look at it as just another form of entertainment, like a movie or TV show. Others, think of it more like sports. Well, Vince McMahon would like to you to know that it's sports entertainment. Well, the rest of us will still refer to it as pro wrestling because that's what it is.
Absolutely.
And not everybody likes it. Not everybody gets it. But you know what? That's fine. I enjoy it. I know you enjoy it. Many others out there enjoy it. And for me, it's a stress reliever. It gets my mind off the real world. You can kind of watch the show for a couple hours, whatever. WrestleMania, 8 hours, whatever it is. Very, very long shows they put on at times. But get your mind off stuff and just kind of enjoy the cartoonish world of pro wrestling a little bit. And you know what? My hat's off to those guys and girls because, you know what? It's not an easy job to do. They bust their butts. They're on the road all year long. They are sacrificing their entire livelihood and putting their bodies on the line night in and night out to entertain the fans. And they don't get enough respect as far as I'm concerned. And
I agree.
You know, but it's not for everybody. You don't like it, you don't like it. Not everybody does. But not everybody likes all the same things. Otherwise, it would be a pretty boring world.
100% agree with you. Absolutely. Yeah. What year did you get into wrestling, if you can remember?
Oh, I started watching it with my brother, Jeremy, when we were kids. I think we started just flipping the channels. It was probably around 87 or 88. Okay. And I remember seeing Hulk Hogan on TV and Ric Flair on TV for, WCW or NWA back then. And those are the two guys I saw first. And I was just like, whoa, what is this? This is kind of cool. And, started watching and just kind of got hooked and enjoyed the pageantry of it. And, how a couple guys could go out and put on, a 30-minute match and see a classic like Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 and just the scientific part of it and, the technical aspects of it, of traditional, Greco-Roman wrestling. And then, the goofy stuff with some of the storylines and goofy things they do over the years and, guys that could just go in there and just knock you out with a couple shots, Andre the Giant just go in there and if he wanted to, just squash you in the corner and fart on you the whole match because he could, because he was a giant and there was not much you could do about it.
Exactly. That guy drinks like 100 beers a night or something like that old story.
5 cases of wine, whatever.
Jeez.
Listen to any story about him on the set of Princess Bride, and it's pretty hilarious, especially the impersonations people try to do of him, which are great. The Rob Reiner and Carrie Elwes' impersonations are pretty dead on. How he called everybody boss.
Yep.
Good stuff. And I got a chance to meet several wrestlers over the years, just like you probably have.
Okay.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the majority of them I actually found to be very pleasant, easygoing people. Mm-hmm. And Joey and I we went to a WCW event in '98, Halloween Havoc in Vegas together, and met up there. And we're just hanging out at the MGM Casino and happened to run into several wrestlers. They were all pretty much very nice and would talk to us and give us an autograph or just chat it up. And funny enough, Joey got a chance to have a pretty detailed conversation with Chris Benoit. And if you guys know who that is, that guy's life really didn't end well. He wound up, murdering his wife and kid, which is horrific.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, but you would have never known it. And Joey had this conversation in the bar with them for about 15 minutes. The guy was nice as could be. You would never even ever imagine that, something like that. Not that you would with people normally, but,
it was a crazy story. Like, I don't know if you've been watching Vice, and they just had a special on him this week and last week.
So, the dark side of wrestling.
Yeah, you've been watching.
Couple of my buddies mentioned to watch that I haven't yet. Yeah,
Gerald, me either.
My buddy Gerald in Atlanta told me I should check that out. What's up, Gerald, if you're listening? My boys Gerald and Keith, back from one of my jobs I had out here. They both wound up moving away. Miss you guys. If you're hearing me.
One of the things I want to ask you, since you brought up Benoit, and it's a conversation I have out loud with myself every day, is the Hall of Fame conversation, which is, does he belong in a Hall of Fame? It's not a real Hall of Fame. Like, there's no physical place to go to.
Right.
Or because of the actions that took place, given the context of his damaged brain, he wasn't just some jerk who went around beating people up all the time or anything like that. Right. He obviously had a damaged brain, and that's why he acted that way.
Brain damage, like the brain of an Alzheimer 85-year-old patient.
Yeah, so it's like, do we include that in the context, or do we just make it like,
I think, based on his merit with his career and what he did in the ring, you would say yes, but the way the events of what took place with the murders and the suicide, and at the end, I just don't think if you're Vince McMahon or Triple H or any of those guys running the show there, you can do that. You can't do it because what kind of negative, terrible publicity you get? Oh, you inducted a murderer into your Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. What the hell is wrong with you? Everybody should boycott this immediately.
Yeah.
They're too good at business people, and it's too much of a publicly traded company to where they would feel comfortable doing that. And then maybe if it was like a lesser-known wrestling type Hall of Fame, like Cauliflower Alley or one of those organizations, maybe they would consider it, but I just don't think they'll do it because of the circumstances of his death and the murders that took place and just all the just horrific things.
A lot of backlash.
And then there's still controversy. Did he really do it? And yes, Joey, I know you don't believe he really did it. You think it was Kevin Sullivan, but and you even called the police in Atlanta and checked it out yourself, and they confirmed that it was a closed case. But
he called.
That's Joey. He did not want to believe that the guy he talked to in Las Vegas could have been capable of that. He thought someone else set him up. He thought Kevin Sullivan, because it was his wife's ex-wife, that was his ex-wife. Mm-hmm. They were together first, that maybe he had something to do with it. I don't believe that myself. There's always conspiracy theorists call him Oliver Joey North, Oliver Stone, I should say, not the general from Oliver Stone Quadra. But hey, I mean, the whole thing is so crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess you never know for sure, but unless you happen to be a fly in the wall. But boy, that whole circumstance was just awful.
What's interesting is, I don't know if you follow Dave Meltzer or the Wrestling Observer.
I know who the guy is.
Okay, yeah, so he's had a magazine for, as long as we've been alive.
Right.
Chris Benoit is actually in that Hall of Fame for the Wrestling Observer, but he went in 03.
Before.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I literally just looked it up. I'm like, I wonder if he's in anyone, because you said Cauliflower Alley, and I was like, oh, maybe that's, but that's the only Hall of Fame he's in, and it was 3 years prior to the murder and the suicide, so that kind of, 4 years.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
4 years. It makes sense. I mean, honestly, if that one can't change what happened, but if that wouldn't have happened, or if he would have died under more, without obviously the murders and everything, if he would have died from natural or prematurely from wrestling related trauma or drugs or alcohol or any other number of conditions, and he hadn't hurt anybody, or he just killed himself, I mean, he would have been in the WWE Hall of Fame probably right away, like Eddie Guerrero was.
Right. Mr. Perfect is in, I believe.
Oh, well, yeah.
Rick Rude.
Late wrestlers.
Yeah. A lot of guys who died, obviously, before, I think it's the before 50 or before 40 club kind of. You're just like, man, that was a lot of people. The thing I love about pro wrestling now is that they've changed so much about the performance in the ring, right? That you don't have the head injuries that you had before. You don't have guys consistently being out or I don't mean out, but you don't have them trying to wrestle through injuries the way that they used to.
Right, they actually put them on concussion protocol.
Yes.
Like other sports like the NFL with the known, CTE and other brain injuries that, research of several doctors. And that Will Smith movie.
Concussion
has a very good insight into that with the doctor that he played, and I did see that. And check it out if you haven't. Even if you are not a fan of football, it's really more about CTE and the effects it had on these players. Tragically, several lost their lives, and it's just kind of a sad thing. And I think kind of ties into probably why I didn't play organized football as a kid.
Yeah, seriously.
And besides the, concerned Jewish mother, the fact that maybe 160-pound dude should not be playing twice or 3 times the size. I could probably crush him and smash him in half, unless I was a kicker or something.
Did you
shout
ever know?
Shout out to Gavin for being the kicker at the time.
I was going to say his name just now.
Indeed.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah, he was like the smallest dude. You didn't play football
He
with
was
us.
my size in junior high. We were the 2 smallest dudes in PE class. And then when we did amateur-style wrestling, not pro-style wrestling, I didn't try to hit him with the chair, but poor Gavin, he got matched up with me, so I might have been small, but not tentative to do what I needed to do. They said the match started. I German suplexed him on his head and had to take him to the nurse.
Yeah.
I felt very, very bad about it afterwards. Yeah. And Gavin, if you're listening, I apologize again, which I did many times at the time, and I probably gave you a concussion, which I was upset that happened.
Yeah. Well, he seems like a very nice guy. Are you guys friends on Facebook or?
No, we weren't really like buddies, but I do remember he was the kicker on the football team. That's why I mentioned him.
Yeah, he's probably still mad at you.
I hope not.
Or maybe he just doesn't remember because you tried to kill him.
I was trying to pin him. In all fairness, I just happened to not know my own strength. Those suplexes can be pretty nasty, right, Joey? Right, Joey?
It's funny because I used to wrestle on my grass with. Did you wrestle with us when we were kids? Not really.
Not with you as much, but if we're talking about the particular individual we talked about before, yeah, if you called him taking a bag of those wrestling figures, not the wrestling buddies, not the soft ones, the really hard plastic big ones, like a Christmas Santa sack type bag, and smashing me in the side of my face with them, and then pinning me and saying he beat me, then yeah, or him jumping off him and I. Okay, I don't want to talk about too many things, but yeah. Or my brother and I setting up a quasi makeshift ring in our downstairs living room. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Yes, you knew we did this, probably anyway. But yeah, in the middle of the banister going to the second level was the top rope, and we put a lot of pillows down, so it was pretty safe. We'd have Matt Stein and other people like that come over and wrestle with us, and whoever happened to be around. This was after David and I didn't really hang out anymore after that, but that incident. But Matt Stein was often part of our little events, and Joey later. And yes, you got everybody in the chicken wing, Joey. Thank you. Even me. And even your neighbor who was in his 30s and was a real estate agent. Yes, you got him in the chicken wing on the basketball court at Cherry Park. Yes,
that's hilarious.
You remember. Cesar and I remember, yes. Hi, Cesar as well.
Because I used to wrestle with Guy, and I wrestled with his brother. And I don't know if you remember the Marks brothers, Greg and Pat Marks.
Vaguely.
They lived up Blueberry. Derek Baber, do you remember him?
I have the names a little bit. I don't remember that I was that close with all of them. I knew Guy, obviously, too, and rest in peace, Guy.
Yeah.
I'm very sad to hear about that.
Yeah.
His passing, and I know, it's just... the older you get, the more of those type things happen. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. We used to play baseball a lot in Guy's driveway. I do remember that. We used to play Baseball Stars a lot on the Nintendo, and it was like our main bond was baseball. Probably, I would say him and I at the time in junior high and everything. And we didn't talk about wrestling as much, him and I, but you and I did. Dee Maria and I did. Obviously, Joey and I a lot. Vinay and I. No, Vinay didn't go to school with us, but he's a close friend of Joey and I's to this day, even though he now lives in Georgia. But and he's a kickboxing instructor, so.
Okay, right on.
Shout out to Corona Kickboxing out of Brunswick, Georgia. Get involved if you're out there.
There you go. Free publicity right here.
Give you a free plug there, Vinay.
if you type in Adam's name, you get 10% off your first month.
Sure. Renee will do that for you once all this coronavirus stuff is under control. We'll start up again.
No, this shit is crazy. Like, there's no football. When it hit the NBA and they shut the NBA down, that's when I was like, all right, this shit is serious.
Very serious.
Yeah, because that is a big money.
It's crazy, and when your wife's a nurse like mine on the front line, it's a whole nother thing. So,
man,
so we're dealing with that as well as my son's care and fight with the cancer, and it's very challenging times. We're just, anybody who's been supporting us, praying for us, keeping us in your thoughts, we greatly appreciate it more than you know, and I want you all to know I appreciate any of that, any good thoughts, any good vibes, any positive things you put into the universe. It's all good karma, and can't thank you enough. And just keep on trying to keep going, pushing forward, and get through this coronavirus stuff, and get my son to the road to recovery and a clean bill of health. And that's all I'm wanting for things right now.
Amen to that. What kind of so for people who don't know, what is his situation? What kind of cancer does he have?
He was diagnosed in late October with a hard tumor called neuroblastoma, which is most common in young children under the age of 5, I want to say, and he's 3.5. So just the sweetest kid you'll ever meet, super tough fighter, all that stuff. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, much less anybody I care for or anybody. So it's just you can't put it into words. It's hard to even articulate how difficult it is to deal with, your own kid dealing with that, and that's why my heart goes out to everyone out there dealing with people dealing with getting sick from the virus, or any other type of illness. Matt Fleischman's dad, he's been battling cancer as well. Shout out to him out there, and much love to the Fleischman family, and Jason Burt with his situation, like I mentioned. Just anybody out there dealing with that, anything like that, now even more than ever. Not that I didn't pour my heart out for people for that type of thing and sympathy and everything, but dealing with it myself with my son, it's really it's touching to see the outreach and support, all the services out there, Make-A-Wish Foundation, all these charities out there.
Awesome.
Getting him toys and arranging for him to hopefully get to go to Disneyland at some point once everything's, hopefully clears up with the virus and with his situation. And just looking towards brighter days, it's been I feel like we've been kind of enshrouded in a dark cloud, and just trying to get out from underneath that, and just return to some sense of normalcy now that, of course, everybody is not in a normal situation. So it just is one more thing.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine last week about this, because ever since this virus hit, it seems like not only have things kind of dispersed as far as like people are kind of just going home and staying home, no matter what state you're in, but also it rained for like a bunch of days in a row, and it was just very dark clouds and stormy weather, and it was like, what the fuck?
Very strange. I mean, different people describe it in different ways. It depends on your religious beliefs, and I respect everybody's beliefs, and some people, see it as like the sign of the apocalypse. I don't take it as far to say the apocalypse has arrived. People in Italy are saying that, and based on their situation with the entire country, and it does seem pretty, morbid and apocalyptic, and it's just, it's hard to imagine, but just kind of just hope and pray, and just hope for good things to happen soon. Yeah.
How do you cope with that stress? So obviously with me being a therapist and stuff like that, I try to kind of dig into how people deal with their stress and stuff like that. My thing that I do aside from playing tons of video games.
Yeah, I wish I could play more, but when you're watching little kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
I try to play a little bit. Love Red Dead Redemption 2, by the way.
Oh, there you
Been
go.
playing that a lot last year.
That's a good one. I've seen people play that, and they
great game. I love the open world, and just you can pretty much it's Rockstar Games. Shout out to Rockstar Games. Give me some free games or something here in San Diego, anyway. But just kidding. But no, they make great games. Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I don't recommend it to little kids. So don't go out and steal cars and shoot people and stuff. But
and kill hookers.
But for us responsible adults, can go play it and enjoy being in an alternate reality through a video game, and then doing what you're going to do on the game, and not doing it in real life, please.
Yeah. So what kind of, do you get into music, movies, TV shows? Like, what kind of things do you get into?
Just to get my mind out things, or just in general. I'm a sports fan, so sports stuff. I try to watch a lot of movies, I start watching some stuff on Netflix, or watch a series here and there. Just different shows, travel-related shows, food-related shows. I love Men vs. Food, especially when they had Adam Richman on there. He was my cousin's neighbor in New York, actually, when he was a kid. And the host of that show, if you guys have seen the show Men vs. Food with him as the original host, he's not the host anymore. It's a guy named Casey Webb. But still a good show, those type shows.
Yeah. You heard of that Tiger King show?
My wife's been watching. I haven't watched it yet. I might have to check it out. But actually, she said it's pretty interesting with, I guess, a guy who has pet tigers or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to download that this weekend, because I don't have Netflix, so I have to find other means to see things.
They could have just, taken some footage of Mike Tyson's house. He really has a tiger, like in the movie The Hangover. I don't know, but Mike Tyson's character anyway. So.
Did you see the picture of Undertaker and Michelle McCool with the tiger?
Yeah.
How weird is that? Like, okay, that's kind of. I
guess there's certain ones that are somewhat trainable, but I'm sorry, but a wild animal's still a wild animal, and you're not gonna get me anywhere near one of those things, because
too big.
That thing will maul you in a second. Look at poor Roy from Siegfried and Roy.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, thank you.
Yeah, he survived it though, but still, it was like a pretty major attack.
Could have very easily killed him at the same time. It clawed his neck and bit him. You can't. I mean, you can train household pets to a degree, but especially dogs and things. But a tiger, that's a jungle cat.
Yeah,
that thing kills other animals all the time. So who the hell is going to stop it if it wants to tear you apart? It's like people trying to take selfies in front of a bear,
I think I saw that one. There was it was a lady. Oh, this was like a TV show way back when, like in the 90s or something like that, which is like over 30 years ago. But this lady, I think, or no, it was a kid. That's what it was. It was a kid next to like a bear or something, and the bear grabbed it, or the tiger, lion, whatever it was, grabbed the kid and tried to eat it. And it was a smaller lion, so it was able to be subdued. But it was like, fuck, that's got to be scary as shit for the kid. The camera kept rolling, and it was just like the kid's crying on camera, scared to death, and the news anchor's holding the kid, trying to pat the kid, like, it's okay, it's okay. Like, no, it's not okay.
They're wild animals, I mean. They're not in captivity, and they're not trained. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they don't care about you. And if you don't think a bear will, in half a second, decide its next meal if it's very hungry, go watch Leonardo DiCaprio in, what was that movie that was recently where the bear mauled him? Yeah.
Oh, The Revenant?
The Revenant, watch The Revenant. Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that was a movie. He survived in the movie, but pretty sure in real life, if a bear mauled someone like that, they wouldn't live to tell about it.
No, absolutely.
Or at least they wouldn't be in very good condition to do so. Or go get revenge on another dude that happened to play Bane.
I found the video. It's a lion attacking a toddler on Mexican TV. Like literally, it's trying to bite the kid's leg. The kid's crying. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's okay. No, it's
fellow
not."
parents, Word to the wise. That's bad parenting.
Mom of the year, right?
Parenting awards do not go out to that family. Sorry.
I just saw some photos the other day randomly of people in LA in the 70s that had a pet lion. And I mean, it wasn't like a little lion. We're talking like full-grown Simba Lion King size.
Oh, no.
I was like, are you serious? And of course, it had actually attacked one of the people in the home.
Shocker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a lion. Wow, who would have guessed?
Have you heard the one about the lady who
Hey,
owned
honey,
a monkey?
let's have steaks for dinner. You think little Simba will mind? Oh no, Daddy! Yeah. Don't do that, people.
You hear about the lady who owned a monkey, and then one day the monkey turned on her and just tried to eat her face?
Yes.
It's like, well, lady, no, I don't get it. I mean, you're not. What's that lady that used to live with the gorillas? Jane
Austen.
I thought it was, Jane Austen. So, you're not her, so just stop. I don't get it.
Yeah.
People are crazy. Well, is there anything else you want to add to what we've talked about? Anyone else you want to give a shout out to or anything?
No, I mean, I didn't mention you and you're listening. Thank you for listening. And my friend here, our gracious host, who's gracious enough to have me on.
Thank you very much.
Thanks you as well.
Thank you.
No, I mean, just stay safe, everyone. Fellow parents, don't get a lion or a bear or any other type of wild animal as a pet. And don't let your kids play around wild animals, even on safari. You got to be pretty careful. I'm pretty sure you don't want to take little kids on the safari anyway.
No, not worth it.
But, man, everybody needs to practice social distancing, stay home as much as possible, and just, if you go out and you have to go somewhere, we've been wearing masks, gloves. I don't care if people look at us like we're crazy, but, sorry, my kid has cancer. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
But, just stay safe. Let's get through this, and try to be nice to each other and not use these times to take advantage of one another and price gouge or be cruel to people or the elderly and things like that. And no, we should not sacrifice the elderly for the economy. I do not agree with that. Amen. Politically or any other way.
Yeah, we need to just kind of shut it down and let people live.
Exactly.
Unless they're San Diego Charger fans, then that's different.
San Diego Chargers fans? Who are the San Diego Chargers?
Oh, that's right. They don't even exist. They're the LA Chargers now. I forgot.
Dean Spanos. Oh my gosh. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my buddy Richard Garcia. Do you remember this guy?
Yes, I saw the photos on your page. It was you, him, and Joey, I think.
Richard.
Yeah.
Don't bring up the Chargers leaving because poor Richard. Other big Chargers fans. That wasn't right. Dean Spanos. Shame on you, sir.
Oops.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
You will never have success in L.A., and people will never care about the Chargers in L.A. I'm sorry.
And now Phillip Rivers is going to leave, so...
He left?
I think he's gone officially.
Signed with the Colts the same day that...
really?
You might have heard of this guy that I'm not a fan of, but Tom Brady, I think his name is. Tampa Bay.
Tim Bundy? Never heard Tim Bundy?
Tim
Never
Bundy,
heard
Al Bundy, Polk High School.
Oh, yeah, 4
touchdowns in one game. This guy Brady, Brady Bunch guy, I don't know. Won a few times. Might have inflated or deflated a few footballs. Spied on a few other teams, but...
Never got caught.
Wasn't caught, but he did get a suspension. But, whatever.
All right, man. Well, it was good talking to you. I hope everything goes well for you and your family and your son and your car accident and everything. Are you feeling okay with your body?
I'm okay. The car's done.
Yeah.
I had to get another car. But thankfully I was okay. My back's been bothering me anyway. Mm-hmm. Coincidentally, I was on the way to the chiropractor when it happened. So, but my kids and my wife were not in the car. I was by myself, so no one was hurt. The other guy seemed fine too. It was his fault. Anybody was wondering. Made a turn, didn't yield to the stop sign, made a left turn. I was going straight on the street, couldn't avoid it, slammed right into it. His rear driver's side, and both cars were pretty messed up, and mine was totaled. So
yeah,
but I got another car, and that's can replace the car, but not a person, right?
Amen. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing okay. I know it's scary. I've been
God,
through.
I was okay after that was scary.
Yeah.
On top of everything else that I'm dealing with, so.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well,
fun times.
Hang in there. Keep watching the Hart family on WWE and the Von Erichs and everybody.
Yeah, that takes my mind off stuff, whether you're a fan of it or not. You know what? If it's not wrestling, watch some old football games. I watched, Sean some old Super Bowl games. Sean won the Giants, beat the Patriots, and screwed up their undefeated season, which I loved. Sorry if any Patriots fans are listening, but ha-ha. And I was just watching Drew Brees get his Super Bowl championship for the poor city of New Orleans that suffered through Hurricane Katrina. And
yes.
Won that one, beat Peyton and the Colts. And, classic baseball games. They're showing some of those too. Cubs fans, they showed the Cubs winning the World Series. And you know what? My Astros winning the World Series controversy notwithstanding. I won't go there, but hey, still a championship in the record books. Sorry, Dodger fans.
Yep, championship
but
at
again,
asterisk. Right on. Well, if you're looking for more football for free, NFL Game Pass is free right now for like a couple of months.
Sure, you can watch old highlights and old games and classic games probably.
It only goes back about 10 years, and I think NBA might have one that goes back only a year. So that's all free right now for a little bit since people are basically screwed.
And as always, WWE Network.
Yes, $9.99.
For only $9.99 a month.
Yes.
Some of you are like, why the hell would I ever spend $10 on wrestling? Well, because you can watch anything from any time period.
Anything and everything for the last.
Even if you weren't a wrestling fan anytime recently, if you watched it back in the day when we'd say we were kids in our generation's time, the 80s stuff, Hulk Hogan, before he came out as such an idiot, and all the classic stuff back in the day, Macho Man, Randy Savage, Ric Flair back in the day, and Four Horsemen, all the classics. Yeah. I enjoy it very much. Thank you, WWE, for that.
And I'm going to get you to watch AEW one day.
AEW, I've watched a few episodes. Hope my man his brother Matt, does well, because he's a good dude. I did actually get a chance to meet him with Renee a few years ago, and
nice.
He was at a House of Hardcore. Tommy Dreamer promoted a small event here at one of the casinos, and got to meet a lot of the wrestlers, and Matt was one of them, and it was really cool. Took some pictures with them, he got me in a headlock, and I smiled about it, even though it actually really kind of hurt.
Yeah. He's not weak, I'm sure.
He's very strong. He's not an average-sized guy.
Was he taller than you?
He's close to my height, maybe a little bit taller than me. I'm 6 foot. He's probably like an inch or two taller than me, but he's got a little bit more muscle on him than I do.
Yeah,
I haven't been in the weight room.
Not for like the last 20 years, like he has.
Not like him.
Yeah, it's
not like Vinay, but Vinay works out constantly. But some of these wrestlers are very well put together.
Yes, yeah.
Some more than others, but the man had a very strong headlock. I'll say that.
Well, if he breaks you, you can just sue him, because that's what America does.
Do. Nah, I had no problem with it. It was interesting.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it was good catching up with you.
Yeah, you too. You too. We'll talk again, hopefully not in 20 years, and we'll keep in touch.
Absolutely. And I'll be checking in on you, kind of see how the kid's doing. And I love seeing the updates, so keep those
I'll try to do it when there's any major news to share, but everything's good since the surgeries. As of right now, he's doing better. He's at home, and he'll be back for several weeks soon, most of the month of April. He's getting some stuff done, and it's an ongoing process, but they're hoping to get what remains of the tumor, which is not very much anymore after surgery. So hopefully the treatments coming up will prevent it from coming back and get rid of the trace amounts that remain. So that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, man. I'll be talking to you soon.